on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're in the Atlanta area, come to church on Sunday. Tomorrow, baby, 9:30. Let's get it. Listen, I'm gonna start this every Saturday, man. Every Saturday at 7:30. Facebook, uh, what is Facebook, and this is spur of the moment. No one knows this, so I have sent no notifications out. So we gonna see who chimes in. Okay, we got two messages on TikTok. Okay, do we? Two messages on TikTok. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Okay. So we're doing Reddit reads and relationship questions. So if you have a relationship question, that's what we're talking about tonight. Okay. You want to come to the community and help out the community. So relationship question, if you are challenged in your relationship, this is a Saturday night, let's get it questions. All right. Saturday night, let's get it. Relationship questions. Okay. Talk to me. Talk to me. Give me my little jack. Talk to me. Relationship questions. So this is Reddit Reads and Relationship Questions. I'm going to, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if you got any relationship questions. We on Facebook now, TikTok. Welcome. We're on two messages. Where am I not seeing these messages? Let's see here. So we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, and we are on YouTube. Now we're doing question and answer. Those who are joining me for the first time, as you see the sign, we're doing relationship questions. So if you have a question about your relationship, chime in. You can chat in, and I have some Reddit reads on relationships. So I'm curious to know if you have any questions. This is my opportunity to serve you, to help you. Every Saturday, I'm gonna be joining you guys in this area, but I just want to by helping you. Let me see my messages here. So I'm gonna start with some Reddit reads, but if you have any relationship questions, now is the time to chime in. This is spouse relationships, close emotional relationships, anything like that. Anything like that. This is your opportunity to ask. That's what we're doing. Relationship reads. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, we good. Okay. All right. So let's get into this. Welcome Facebook. Welcome YouTube. Welcome all here. So let me read. Let's go through. We're gonna have our oh shucks, what I do to it? Okay, no, I'm good. Yep. Okay. So let's do the first Reddit read, and then we're gonna get into some questions. I'm gonna answer this Reddit read. If we don't have, by the time these three are done, if no one chimes in with a question, then of course I'm just gonna log off. So I'm gonna do this. This is my opportunity to kind of reach some folks, but of course I ain't gonna be here all night. So let's try this again. Reddit read. Let's listen to this read. Those of you who are listening, welcome again. If you're on here, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, here's the Reddit read. If you're taking notes, take the notes. I'm going to give my opinion on this, but I would love for you to chime in if you want to. Here we go. What should she do? Chime in. If you guys heard that on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on social media, TikTok, if you heard that entire story, chime in. What do you think she should do? Chime in. What do you think? Where my advisors at? Talk to me. Chime in. What do you think she should do? I want to see if who's been on, who wants to kind of give their input into this. I'm gonna give my input after, but I just want to see if anybody has uh, any type of advice for this young lady. This young lady is in a relationship with this young man is in a relationship with somebody. Young lady, uh, they've been in quite some time. There's a loss of a parent. There's a loss of a dog. There's a lot of loss that they both have experienced. Um, she started sexting someone of the opposite sex, and he found out. She still loves him. She still wants to marry him. Should they still get married? That is the question. What do you guys think? Should they still get married? Now, this is a Reddit read. I'm going to give my opinion. I'm just seeing if any community folks out here got some input to share before I give my input. What do you think she should do? He should do, excuse me. Again, young lady, we're a young man engaged to a young lady. She was sexting some guy. What should this young man do? Obviously, there was some loss, and so the loss has created some negative experiences. So, what do you think she should do? I'm gonna give y'all maybe 2 or 3 seconds. If I don't see nobody, I'm just jumping in with my opinion, if you will, and share what I believe what this young man should do. And let's talk about the reason why. So as someone, when someone is doing something, understand if your spouse, if your partner is doing something out there, okay, meaning sexting someone else. Why are they doing that? This is an important process. Why do you think they're doing that? I want to know what you think. Why do you think this young lady is sexting someone else? Why is that? Because all emotional reactions come from somewhere. They have a genesis. Everything comes from somewhere. So why do you think this is happening? Why do you think this has happened? Curious to know. What do you think? I'm looking on 3 screens here. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, so nobody chimed in, so let me share. So backstory is obviously there's some loss. When you suffer loss, family, when there is a loss, you have to deal with the loss. You can't mask over the loss. Loss of a loved one, loss of a pet, loss of a job, loss of a career, loss of identity. All these things are losses. And a lot of times, because we are so used to just plowing through life, plowing through problems, we never take inventory of how we feel and what we're going through. We just plow through, because plow through is the way of life. In America, you want to deal with something, you plow through it, right? We don't sit down and reflect and identify what it is that's causing the problem. That's is the problem right there. You're not doing anything to reflect on why you're actually feeling the way you're feeling. So what's going to happen? You're going to plow through life and relationships, never addressing your pain. The problem is the pain never leaves just because you ignore it. That's like, you never get your oil change in your car. You're just going to plow through. I don't care what anybody. I'm never going to get a diagnostic checkup. I'm never going to take my car in for maintenance. That sign that comes on your car that says maintenance required, that's not a suggestion. It's a what? Requirement. You need maintenance. You need maintenance on your life. Your life requires inventory. Your life requires reflection. Your life requires you to go in. Yes, thank you for the roses. Praise God. Your life requires that if you're going to actually have a good life. Many of us are just plowing through, and we're never taking inventory. And the problem with that is you are still hurting, and you're going somewhere, just like this young lady in a relationship with this young man. They suffered major loss of parent, loss of dog, loss of a baby. Listen, that's major. That's major. She's feeling lost. She's feeling hurt. She don't know what to do. So what happens when we don't address our pain? We mask it. And when we mask our pain, here's the thing. It's just like if you had a pet in the house and they pooped and you just took a piece of carpet and covered the poop, what's going to happen? The stank is still there. It ain't went nowhere. It's still stank. It's real funky now because it's been a couple of days. Oh man, it's stinking here. That's what's happening in your life because you're not taking time to clean up the mess that's in your life. You're not taking time to address the mess. You plow through the mess still is with you. It's still on you. So this couple, loss of a baby, loss of a parent, loss of a dog, they don't have any counseling. So what happens is when we mask it, it shows up in other areas like vices, sex, drugs, eating, pornography. Any vice is a manifestation of something that you're holding back on that you're not dealing with. So you feel like you need to be in a position of control. So what can I control? I can control the fact that I can go get some dope. I can go drink and drink and drink and drink. I can get high and get high and get high and get high. Sex. Do anything that's going to escape or put a mask on my pain. In other words, put me in a position where endorphins are injected, where I'm like, yes, it's time to, whatever it is, whatever the vice is killing you because it's masking the pain that you have. So we have to realize, family, it doesn't end. So the tragic part is this couple didn't get help. And when you don't get help, you can't redo what was already not done, meaning the pain is there. So with this, should this young boy or this man marry this woman? Not now. Maybe not ever. My advice is get both of you get some counseling. Both of you sit in a counseling office, talk to, if you believe in your relationship. Your relationship is broken because you're practicing things that break a relationship. It's so many times we don't realize it's not the person, because if they break up, the young girl is going to continue the same practices. The young guy is never going to address his pain either, because he never noticed in the Reddit read, this young man never said how he felt. Most people don't know how they feel. If I ask you on TikTok, or I ask you on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, however you watch this on the replay, I want to ask you this question, right? What emotions do you feel on a regular basis? And if your emotional vocabulary is stuck on 2 or 3 words, sad, happy, frustrated, angry, like that's the extent of your emotional vocabulary, it shows you're hurting. Praise God. Appreciate that. One Media, 91 The Medicine. Okay. Praise God. I'm glad you enjoyed. These are truths, right? So understand, it's important to recognize your pain, because if you don't recognize your pain, you're bringing your pain into your relationships, and your relationships are being toxified by it. So this young man, sadly, the sad part is, man, I don't doubt that they loved each other. I don't doubt that this young woman is actually telling the truth, that she loved this young man, but she don't know how to deal with her pain. And so what happened? Again, when we don't deal with pain, we go to vices. Sex, drugs, food, stress, eat. Something that I can control. I can control what I eat. So I can get into a position where I don't have to control. See, when you have a vice, you place yourself in a position that you don't have limits, because you are expressing pain by intaking some type of activity, food, drugs, sex, whatever it is, to escape that very thing. And the more you get in, on some level, you think you're moving. It's like, but you're running on a treadmill. You're not going anywhere. The toxicity is still there. So this And it's sad because I can just hear the pain in this young boy. I mean, to find that your fiance is sexting somebody, you love her, she loves you, you suffer loss, major loss, baby, uh, parent, dog, or pet they had together. Oh man, yeah, and we're just gonna plow through life. Stop it, stop it. You can't plow through this, right? This ain't the NFL. I have clients because I coach and I counsel, and I warn all of my AAA athletes and professional athletes. I have clientele professional athletes as well. Not clientele, but I have clients that have been or are professional athletes. And I always warn them, because in your mind you think you can control this like you can control the game, like you can control the field, control the court, right? You think I can come in here and just handle this. You can't, right? Physical muscles and emotional processes are totally different. But because we get used to doing one thing one way, we think that that one thing, the one way, we should do in every single way. So if I grew up and I got cussed out all the time, and what did I do when I get cussed out? I just turn off my parents who was cussing me out. Why? Because nobody is listening and nobody's getting cussed out. I don't care how much little you are little Johnny's son or little Susie's mama. They ain't hearing you when you dogging them out and cussing them out. They've left the building. So when they left the building, what happened was they got in a practice of leaving the scene of the crime. The scene of the crime is, I'm hurt, they're going off on me, I'm left, I checked out mentally, I'm gone. So what happens when you get in a relationship? You check out, you leave. You leave the relationship, meaning not necessarily leave physically, but you leave mentally, you leave emotionally, you detach yourself from your spouse or your partner emotionally. And that's the challenge right there, is understanding that when that happens, it's game over, because you're practicing something that's breaking your relationship. Okay, so let's read Reddit read. Let's go through Reddit read number 2, family. Reddit read number 2. I think this is important that we understand. First off, not to suppress your pain. Let's continue. Let's hear this other story, and let's chime in on it. Mm. Very good. What y'all think? Talk to me. TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Chime in before I chime in. Chime in before I chime in. I would love to hear your take on that. I know you thinking. I know you got some feelings about it. I know you got some thoughts about it. Hey, how you doing? 91 on the medicine. Talk to me. What do you think? 91 on the medicine. What do you think this young lady should do based on that read that just happened? What do you think she should do? Recap for those of you who kind of came in late on her comment. Basically, this is a young lady. She's in a relationship with this young man who at one point got her pregnant. She communicated this to her stepdad. Her stepdad was upset, and he made a comment, I really don't never have to talk to him or see him again. This young man took that to heart, and for 8 years he has never talked to this woman's dad. Okay, that's one thing. Number two, he doesn't communicate and involve himself with any family gatherings because of that statement. And stepdad is aware, apologized, but he still doesn't want to engage. So, what is your take? She says she should walk away. What do you think she should do? I think she should walk away. I'm not even going to wait. Why should she walk away, Pastor Jimmie? She should walk away for a couple of reasons. Number one is this. The main reason I want to share this because it's very important. I think it's for everyone to know this. When you're in a relationship and your values, what you value, what you feel is important in life is being compromised, meaning you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't value family, but you value family. You value your parents, you value your siblings, you value family experiences, Christmas, big Christmases, big gatherings, right? Not in a big gathering, meaning it's not just your house, it's you're bringing both families in, and you guys are, are having community and conversation, and that's important. And some people value that. Okay, so when she's in a relationship with someone who doesn't value it, all that does is for her, it just erodes her, it kills her. Your identity, family, when you're in a relationship with somebody and they don't value what you value, and it causes you to kill what you value, you are literally dying, eroding in a relationship. And so the only thing that does happen is as you stay with this person, you begin to resent them because you don't address the fact that you have contributed to your own death. You're going to feel hurt, feel disappointed. She even said it. I feel stupid because I didn't leave earlier. I stayed. So she's already feeling some regret. Regret turns to resentment. So here she is in a relationship with somebody, regretting, and eventually will resent this young man. So you have to understand the only way forward is a deeper dive into the abyss of frustration and anger and disappointment and regret and of course, again, resentment. You're going to only end up hating this person because you never addressed the pain that you had. And so resentment really comes when we don't hold ourselves accountable. We feel disappointed in ourselves, and because we feel pain and we feel hurt, we project that hurt onto our partner or our spouse. So somehow we think they are the problem. In reality, you're the problem. You are mad at yourself because you didn't leave. So when you're mad at yourself, you'll project that pain onto somebody else. Happens all the time. You knew you shouldn't have stayed, but because you stayed, you ticked off at him. You ticked off at her. Hold up. Who told you to stay? You ain't a tree. A tree doesn't move. So you can move. You can leave. But we have a process that we really think that things are going to get better. When you're eroding your values, things will never get better. Because the values you have, your partner have. If you guys value the same things in life, how could you walk together? You have to do everything. Values need to grow. Like you can't marry somebody who likes to party. You is, you want life, or you like this. She likes family, like that. That's how it works. He is sabotaging intentionally your relationship. Your relationship. So understand, this young lady is in a position. Only way she can best you is cut the ties and move on, because she doesn't have time to go. She's this young man, and that doesn't get better with time. It gets worse. She did not address her contribution to the relationship. Never compromise her value. Never compromise your value. When you compromise your value in a relationship, you are dying a slow death, only to end up resenting your spouse or your partner. So you got to deal with that. You got to deal with that. You got to have that. You got to have that time of reflection to identify the very thing that's hurting you, where you fell short at. Take ownership of what you did. Take ownership of your contribution to it, so that you don't project it onto them. I just saved you a whole lot of money on therapy just by that. Just know that. Whole lot of money on therapy just got saved. Yes, it did. All right, so let's go to the next. Let's go to the next Reddit read, guys. And if you don't have any questions, again, you got questions on about relationship, chime in. I'm here for this season, for this moment, to help you out. This is the last Reddit read I'm gonna read. If you have questions, ask while I'm talking about this Reddit read, or chime in now. If you're on TikTok, invited, I'm sending you an invite. You can come in and talk. Tell me what your question is. I will give you some direction, some help. I'm a pastor, relationship counselor, coach. I help couples. I help individuals. So if that's you, today you get to chime in and get some free help, get some free advice, get some free wisdom, get some free instruction, so they can help you out in your journey and in your life. We need wisdom, information, and knowledge. Solomon said that's what a house is built on. Some folks say house is built on love. No, it's not. No, it's not. You need wisdom, you need understanding, and you need knowledge. You need more than love, family. I know people say, that's all you need is love. That's a lie. We just repeating songs. No, you need more than love. You need wisdom. You need understanding. You need knowledge. Listen to this last Reddit read. And again, you got any questions, man, chime in. I'm here to help. All right. This is going to be the last one before I take off. So I want to make sure I give you guys time. So here it goes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What? Uh-oh. Whoo. Oh, mm, whatever. Oh. Mm, mm. Okay. Okay, family. If you heard that, I don't know if nobody heard that. So, young lady, dating a Christian guy. This young Christian guy obviously has a conviction about his faith. He is practicing sin, having sex before marriage. That's a sin, right? And she's feeling some type of way about it. Obviously, again, same thing we talked about the other time. She doesn't. They don't have the same values. So because they don't have the same values, it's not going to work. She needs to leave the relationship. He needs to leave the relationship. She said they can't close the door. Well, you shouldn't close the door, because closing the door get a man in trouble. Uh, you come with my kids, you ain't coming in here closing no door. No, I'll pay. That ain't happening. So you really have to understand that from her. If I'm talking to her, I'm saying this: your moral compass is different than his. And if your moral compass is different than his, and you obviously on some level don't respect his moral compass. Interestingly enough, she ties his moral compass to him standing up for her. So his faith on some level is causing her some type of feeling of emotional abandonment, because he's committed more to his faith than to her. Now, I don't know the story, but if I was a betting man, I would be willing to bet that this young lady does not have, has on some levels, deals with and has dealt with some level of emotional abandonment, meaning a dad wasn't in her life or mom was in her life. So she takes those things as personal attacks, like his commitment to his faith. When people suffer abandonment and neglect, they have a predisposition to feel neglected, even though the action is not him neglecting her, because he prioritizes his faith above her. On some level, she feels neglected. That, for her, is going to be a challenge, because you can't walk together unless you agree. How can two walk together unless they first agree? She's feeling neglected because he's prioritized his faith above her. She's saying it's his family. It's his faith. It's not his family. His family isn't causing him to do that. It's his compromise of his faith that has him feeling some type of way. You're feeling some type of way because he's prioritized his faith over you. And when you have a predisposition for abandonment and neglect, you feel his commitment is an attack against you. That's the problem, because you're not seeing it from the position that he has. He is not neglecting you emotionally, but you feel emotionally neglected. I want to say that again. This is very important. You're feeling a certain type of way, but it doesn't mean that's his intention. His intention is prioritizing his faith, which is, I'm practicing integrity to the best of my ability. He's doing it wrong, but I understand where he's coming from. He like, yo, I'm trying to do this thing right, but you keep on throwing, you keep on engaging in sexual intercourse. It just compromises his faith. And you don't understand that his commitment is not to his parents, but his faith. He just grew up in a Christian home. And the home understands that it's his faith that's important, that's being compromised. And they're watching him kind of lose his morality or his moral compass. And they can't do anything as parents, because, he's 21. What you gonna do? Even if they stay in the same house, you can forbid, but if you got any type of sense, the moment you start forbidding grown folks to do something, you just drive them to do it. So the only thing they can do is kind of sit back and watch this happen. And that's what they're going through. This young man is obviously trying to have a deeper relationship with Christ and show commitment in terms of practicing celibacy, staying away from sexual sin and sexual intercourse. You feel it's an attack. So that right there causes problems, because the moment you feel it's an attack against you, and rightfully so, because you feel that way. You feel that way because you've experienced it. So whenever we feel neglected growing up, we want to feel neglected in a relationship. unless you address and you're aware of the fact that you feel neglected and abandoned. Abandonment and neglect are real emotional feelings that you do not grow out of. If your daddy was not in your life, if your mother was not in your life, if your parents worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and they wasn't there, I don't care what you say, you feel neglected. Not that you're even conscious of it, but you will be hypersensitive to statements and actions that create this emotional setback. So that's the only thing that person can do is the best thing that person can do is get some type of counseling to address the abandonment that she's dealing with. And if she's talking to a Christian counselor, hopefully they can pivot that abandonment into seeing the safety and emotional security of their faith in Christ to help them with their walk. If they don't do that, they're going to struggle. So that's the only thing they can do. Don't feel, I would encourage her, don't feel like that's a personal attack. It's not. It's his faith. He's dealing with it. You guys just you don't have the same moral compass, even though you go to the same church. And you can go to church and still feel abandoned and neglected, and you will take your partner's commitment to Christ as a personal attack, where you feel the church is the enemy. Now, the church can be the enemy in marriages on equal opportunity. The church can be an enemy in marriages and relationships if the church takes up time for instead of your relationship. In other words, well, I got to go to Bible study. We got prayer meeting. We got intercessory. And y'all don't have no time for yourself. Y'all don't have a relationship with each other. Y'all got a relationship with the church. You need a relationship with each other. Marriage is a relationship between 2 people, not 3. Not 2 people in an entity like a community, like a church. You need your relationship settled. You need practice in your relationship. You need to be able to spend time with your spouse. That's the fact. If everything you do has to do with the church, then you are literally putting them above. I didn't say your faith in God. I said the church. The church should not be in front of your family. It's faith in God, my family, my church is up in there, but it ain't prioritized above my relationship. Don't do it. If you prioritizing your church above your relationship, your spouse is mad. Your spouse resents the church. Your spouse doesn't like you because your spouse feels neglected because you at church all the time and you ain't spending no time with them. You can't go on a vacation because of the church. You can't go out to dinner on certain date nights because of the church. That's too much. You need to have a relationship with your spouse. That means you need to take them somewhere. You need to go somewhere, go to the park, go to dinner, do something other than going to the church house. So it's on both ways, but from what she said, that has nothing to do with the church. That has everything to do with my man. So, all right, family, it's time for me to roll out. I got church tomorrow morning. If you are in the Atlanta area, join me on tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. in East Point. Be a blessing. Sow a seed if you want to sow a seed today. The TLICATO.org allows for us as a church to do what God has called us to do. So partner with us. I encourage you. We need your financial commitment. Don't get it twisted. We need your financial commitment for us to keep doing what we're doing. I love you. You guys have a great evening. I'm going to see the light in the house on tomorrow. Peace and love, family. See you there.